Older sister and a school safety officer who saw the teenage girl moments before she disappeared back in 2018 were just two of the 12 witnesses who testified today during Jonathan Quillis's trial. The Jacksonville man is charged with sexually assaulting and killing his own niece, 16-year-old Iyana Sawyer. News4Jax reporter Marilyn Parker.
Yeah, if I ruled the world, I'd lower the coke prices, raise the welfare, and lower the perk prices. You could pay for a feature, even though the flow priceless. Whole team Muslim, we at war like.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Hip Hop Forever. Today, we've been taking a trip out to Jacksonville, Florida, to learn more about the death of 16-year-old Iyana Sawyer. Iyana was killed by her uncle, who impregnated her and tried to cover it up, so he killed her. In the meantime, I'm going to need y'all like, comment, subscribe, and don't forget, gang, don't incriminate nobody over here. Let's go.
16 years old, pregnant reportedly with her uncle's baby and unknowing of his murderous intentions, Iyana Sawyer was killed, dumped in a trash bin, and eventually hauled away to a landfill to never be found, according to prosecutors. Thursday, jurors decided after about an hour of deliberations there was plenty enough evidence in the 2018 Jacksonville case to convict 38-year-old Jonathan Quillis of 2 counts of first-degree murder and sexual battery. Monday they will return for the sentencing phase to determine if he should receive life in prison or the death penalty, the judge said. The state, under a 2023 bill signed into law, now grants a death sentence with a majority of 8 of the 12 jurors recommending execution, as opposed to being unanimous. Quillis showed little reaction afterward. Similar to the previous 5 days of his trial, Sawyer, who witnesses testified wanted to have the baby, was last seen December 19 that year at Terry Parker High School. The next month police started massive circus off the Otis Road landfill in Baldwin. They also arrested Quillis on a separate sexual battery charge on another family member before eventually indicting him in Sawyer's presumed death and of her fetus. It was the junkyard on Main Street where prosecutors said Quillis killed his pregnant niece and discarded her body. Prosecutors showed surveillance video there of him coming and going in a red minivan. He is also seen driving a front loader on the day Sawyer disappeared as well as the day after. According to First Coast News, the news station reported that Gary Lindros, one of the men who runs the junkyard, testified Quillis drove into an area of the business that employees usually didn't go into. He did this at least twice in his own vehicle, according to video and prosecutors. Once the body was covered in debris in a dumpster and eventually transferred to the Otis Road landfill, investigators found items belonging to Sawyer such as high school textbooks and undergarments.
With a breaking news alert.
And I'm not trying to pester you.
That breaking news just within the past 20 minutes, the man who has just been charged with murdering his pregnant niece walked by our cameras speaking with News4Jax reporter Vic Micolucci.
We want to hear your side of the story. Where's Iyana? Now's your chance. Where's Iyana?
Any questions, you could talk to my lawyer.
Who's your lawyer?
Christine Michelle.
Okay, well...
This is a major development in the months-long search for 16-year-old Terry Parker High School student Iyana Sawyer. 33-year-old Jonathan Quillis maintains he had nothing to do with her disappearance. Investigators say he also impregnated Sawyer, and he is charged with the murder of her unborn child as well.
News4Jax reporter Corley Peel is joining us live with what Quillis just said moments ago. Corley.
Sawyer's family attorney tells me that they have been anxiously waiting for this day, for the day that Quillis would be charged with murder. And I want to get right to that video of my colleague Vic Micolucci confronting Quillis as he was leaving the police station and on his way to jail. Listen to what he has to say.
We want to hear your side of the story. Where's Iyana? Now's your chance. Where's Iyana?
Any questions, you could talk to my lawyer.
Who's your lawyer?
Christine Michelle.
Okay, well, do you have details about where she is?
I can't discuss anything at this time.
Are you telling the detectives, the investigators?
I can't discuss anything at this time.
Did you impregnate her?
Can't discuss anything at this time.
What about a message for her family? They're obviously going through hell right now. She's missing. Nobody knows where she is.
I can't discuss anything. Any questions, you could go ahead and contact my lawyer. She'll be more than happy to answer any questions you guys got.
Are you forthcoming with everybody?
Again, I have no comment.
Then I'm not trying to pester you.
Quillis is accused of getting Sawyer pregnant, who was 5 months along when police say she disappeared in December. Sawyer's family members say they've been told Sawyer died on December 19th, the day she never made it home from school. Keyless has been in jail since January, but on an unrelated sexual battery charge involving a different victim who was also a relative. Despite weeks of searching this landfill in the Baldwin area seen here through Sky4, Sawyer's body hasn't been found. The attorney for Sawyer's family, John Phillips, released a statement. It reads in part, "It's been months of rumors and speculation, hoping she'd come home, and then the landfill searches, and the worst days a family could ever live through. They still do not have the answers they seek because too many people associated with this case are talking about the case, and justice starts with a conviction."
Now, this missing 16-year-old pregnant high school student's body was never found. Her uncle, however, Jonathan Keyless, was charged with her murder. Tonight, new details have been revealed in Iyana Sawyer's murder investigation. Investigators have told us about a conversation between Jonathan Keyless and another person that provides clues as to why he was charged with Sawyer's murder. News4Jax reporter Janice Harris, she's been following this case since the teen disappeared December of 2018. Janice, what was said during this discussion?
There was a lot that was said, Joey. It's a very disturbing discussion with Keyless rambling about a girl who might be pregnant by him and how he can't lose his family if she has the baby. The discussion suggests that he is talking about his pregnant niece, Iyana Sawyer.
Terry Parker High School student Iyana Sawyer went missing after leaving school on December 19th, 2018. Her uncle, Jonathan Keyless, was charged with her murder, though her body was never found. But police have found dozens of pieces of possible evidence. A photo of Keyless holding a gun, the inside of a car with DNA evidence and a gun and bullets. This JSO incident report suggests Keyless practically confessed to killing the teen. The only thing missing is her name. Tuesday, January 8th, 2019, police spoke with a man who said Jonathan called him on the 19th or 20th of December 2018 and sounded very frantic, rambling about how the girl might be pregnant and he can't lose his family if she has the baby and that he had to get rid of the body. Jonathan later said, "I know what to do." An hour later, Keyless called the man back and said, "It's done. I can finally breathe easy." This is Keyless in jail just moments after he was told he would be charged with murder for Sawyer's death. The same day, Keyless talked about getting someone pregnant. Keyless admitted he had talked to someone into running away with them because he believed she was pregnant with his baby. She went to his job, Ace Pick-a-Part. He brought her into the back of the property where no customers were allowed to be. He tried to strangle her, but couldn't stomach it. The report indicates that Keyless said he shot her in the chest, put her body in a dumpster, which was picked up the same day and removed from the property.
During the conversation, Keyless says that he threw her cell phone into the Trout River. Iyana's name is never said, but he has only been charged with her murder and no one else. Reporting.
Charged with the rape and murder of his own pregnant niece in 2018, was back inside a Duval County courtroom today, but this time, Jonathan Keyless wanted to address the trial judge. He's accused of killing 16-year-old Iyana Sawyer. Her body has never been found. Tarek Miners here with what Keyless said. Tarek, this trial has now been delayed an 8th time.
Yeah, it's been 4 years now, and the judge asked Keyless if he was ready to address the court today, and then the judge gave the accused killer and his lawyers a few minutes to make sure that that is exactly what they wanted to do. Now, when the time expired, it was Keyless's lawyer who instead told the judge what was on the defendant's mind. Now, Keyless' defense attorney said the 38-year-old claims he's being mistreated in the Duval County jail because of all the media attention the case has garnered over the past 4 years. Keyless says through his attorneys that people inside the jail are calling him a monster and a predator, and he has concerns about how the court will be able to find a jury that's impartial.
Well, the main concern has to do with the media attention that he's received and some of the backlash that he's had to deal with within the jail and maltreatment that he's suffered because of that.
Now, lawyers weren't specific about what kind of mistreatment Keyless alleges he's been experiencing, but just said he wanted these issues brought to the attention of the court. Keyless's trial date has now been tentatively set.
Informants and a brother-turned-informant were among those testifying at a high-profile death penalty trial today on the First Coast. Jonathan Keyless is accused of killing his underage niece because she was pregnant with his child. 16-year-old Iyana Sawyer vanished from Terry Parker High School. That was back in late 2018. It's now day 5 of testimony, and Ann Schindler joins us now to catch us up with what's been happening in the courtroom. Ann?
Well, jurors had a later night than usual today. In fact, they're still there. They were listening to a lengthy recording of Quillis, secretly made by 2 jailhouse informants, as well as testimony from his brother. Now, in that recording, he confesses to killing his niece by shooting her and then dumping her body in a container at the automotive junkyard where he worked. The jury also heard from Quillis's ex-wife. She said she was initially defensive when her sisters suggested that her husband was behaving inappropriately with Iyana Sawyer, but she gradually began to believe that he was capable of killing the teenager. In comments pointedly directed at the defendant, she recalled his behavior before and after the crime.
Prior to that, he was fidgety and nervous, restless. After she went missing, then he slept like a baby. And I'm aware of this because I was very pregnant and I was up every hour on the hour to go to the bathroom as he slept like a baby.
As a powerful witness, the last witness of the day, and I think the last witness of the state's presentation, is Quillis's biological brother. He's the one who originally contacted Jacksonville police after his brother confessed. He testified today as a reluctant witness, said he still loves his brother, but he's considered a key witness for the prosecution.
Prosecutors presenting more evidence in the murder trial of this Jacksonville man charged with raping and killing his niece when she was pregnant with his child. How they're using surveillance video to walk the jury through his actions at work on the day the victim disappeared. Prosecutors are now in their 3rd day of testimony as they try 38-year-old Jonathan Quillis for first-degree murder.
He's accused of killing 16-year-old Iyana Sawyer in December of 2018. Her body has never been found, a point the defense has argued during the trial. News4Jax reporter Marilyn Parker shows us the timeline prosecutors established for Quillis the day Sawyer was reported missing.
Jonathan Quillis worked at Ace Pick-A-Part for about 90 days. In the video we're about to show you, Quillis's general manager confirms that it is Quillis, and we get to see his movements throughout that day. Friday morning, Quillis arrives at Ace Pick-A-Part. He drives a red van, then we see him walk through the parking lot. Around 11:17 a.m., he gets in his van and leaves. Here's what the general manager, Gary Lindros, said about this.
He's leaving the property in his vehicle, or his vehicle is leaving.
Do we note, sir, at 11:17 a.m. that he signed out on his timesheet? Have you had a chance to look?
I've seen the time card. No, he did not punch out as he's supposed to.
You're certain that's the defendant leaving at 11:17 a.m. on December 19th? Agree with that?
Yes, sir.
Quillis is gone for about an hour and 13 minutes. He pulls back into work and goes out of camera sight and into an area that's not employee parking. About 3.5 minutes go by, and it's about 12:30 now. He pulls in, then walks up to the office holding what looks like red tape. Then he heads towards the parking lot as a tow truck pulls in. Quillis walks alongside it in the employee parking lot. He's headed towards a pile of scrap tires. Then at 6:06 p.m., he's leaving in his van. That video we just showed you, Quillis is leaving around 11 a.m. and then he comes back around 12:30. Well, last week we learned Iyana Sawyer left Terry Parker High School around 11 a.m. as well. But the state's suspicion doesn't stop there. Coming up tonight on News4Jax at 6, we'll show you video from December 20th at Ace Pick-A-Part, and we'll let you know how the defense cross-examines this witness.
Find Jonathan Quillis should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
A Jacksonville jury recommended life in prison for the man accused of killing his own niece and her unborn child after raping and impregnating her. We brought you that decision live on Action News Jax at 5, and new tonight, the family of the murder victim, Iyana Sawyer, is responding to the jury's recommendation. I'm Tanika Hughes.
I'm John Bachman. Action News Jax Annette Gutierrez is live in front of the Duval County Courthouse. Annette, the family says justice was finally served.
Yes, it was. Iyana Sawyer's family says whether it was the death penalty or life in prison, they're just happy to know that Jonathan Quillis is off the streets and suffering consequences. Now, as I mentioned, the death penalty was on the table, but after about an hour and a half of deliberation, the jurors made a unanimous decision to recommend life in prison without the possibility of parole.
It's very overwhelming, but it's a very joyous feeling. This has been almost 5 years coming, and justice has finally been served.
After more than 2.5 weeks, jurors in the Jonathan Quillis murder trial officially finished their duty. Last week,
Keyless was found guilty of all charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder in the raping and killing of Iyana Sawyer, who was his 16-year-old niece. She was pregnant when she was killed in December 2018. Investigators never found her body after they say Keyless left it in a dumpster. But today, they unanimously recommended Jonathan Keyless be sentenced to life in prison instead of the death penalty.
We, the jury, find Jonathan Keyless should be sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Iyana Sawyer's aunt, Paula Dixon, said they will never have closure, but they have comfort knowing Keyless won't be able to do this to anyone else.
So are we satisfied? Completely. His death will do nothing for us. It won't bring our loved one back. It'll never cover what we cost. So he can live the rest of his life knowing that he did not get away with what he did to our family.
Nobody won in this case at all.
Keyless's defense lawyers say they respect the jury's decision and realize Iyana Sawyer's family won't ever be the same.
The victim's family has to go through this with no one and knowing that they've lost their loved one.
Sawyer's family is still grieving and are asking for privacy and prayers, but they are thankful to everyone who helped in this case.
There's no words that we can express to show our gratitude for what everyone has done to bring justice to our family.
And the judge has set the status hearing for this Thursday at 1:30 p.m. And that's when Jonathan Keyless will find out when he will be sentenced. For local coverage you can count on, live in the courthouse, Annette Gutierrez, Action News Jax.